this is going to be a very interesting offseason for the 49ers in ways much more interesting than the last couple of months were. Don't you think?
I do. What I'd like you to do for our viewers is this. I feel that the NFL season is a 12-month affair. It used to not be. It used to be, seasonal, fall, winter. Now there are so many things going on that someone who covers the NFL or the Niners, really it's a 12-month job. So let's just do the basics. What are some big events that are coming up on the timetable that our viewers can look forward to?
Sure. The offseason really starts in about 2 weeks with the Senior Bowl. It's a whole week. The game is the January 30th, but there's a whole week of practices leading up, and it's all the best senior college football players in the country. The ones who have graduated, they practice together for a week. A coach from an NFL team will coach one side, and Shanahan coached it 2 years ago. Gruden coached it 2 years ago. You will learn a lot about these players. The teams will learn a lot about these players, and it'll start to come into focus who the real options for the 49ers are in the draft. So the Senior Bowl is the beginning. The game is on the 30th and the week leading up. That's number one. Number two is the Combine. Now, remember, with the pandemic and this year, these dates are all tentative. Who knows when it'll really happen? But for now, it's supposed to be the 30th of January for the Senior Bowl. The Combine usually is, I believe, in February, but this year it's March 7th to March 11th. And the Combine is when you'll find out how fast these guys are, how big they are. I mean, and the point of that is you can always compare them. If you think a guy's good, you can compare him to a guy you knew was good 20 years ago. Are they the same size? Are they the same speed? That's one way to do it. So the Combine is a big deal. And then on March 17th, the new league year starts. So that's when free agency will start. That's when the Niners will start losing a bunch of players and signing a bunch of players, and their team will change. That's always exciting. And then after that, the NFL draft goes from April 29th to May 1st. Immediately following that, you'll have OTAs all throughout May, mini camp in June, and then a 5-week layoff. End of July, they report back for training camp. They go all through August, preseason. So we'll see. I mean, they didn't have OTAs and mini camp last year because of COVID, but this year everyone should be, vaccinated. We'll see what happens.
Iggy, in the past, do the media get to cover OTAs?
Absolutely. Hell yes. And it's a lot of fun because the guys they draft are on the field like 2 weeks later, and you get to see them on the Niners wearing Niner uniforms, running Niner routes. It's pretty cool. And I get to take videos and put them on YouTube, and you can see yourself.
So, Iggy, there's a lot coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like weekly games, but really there's a lot going on. I have now a question about us. Now, we have gone on pretty much every Tuesday during the season, which seemed to have gone very quickly. What do we do with the Cohn Zone?
To me, I actually feel like there's going to be more to talk about vis-a-vis the 49ers the next 4 months than there was the last 2 months. I mean, this season's been over for a while. We did the best to conjure up some drama and make it seem like it was going to come down to the end, but they were done. They were dead in the water since Jimmy got hurt? Now everyone's going to want to talk about what's happened next. What's the next move? Do they trade down? Do they trade up? Who's the quarterback? I mean, this is almost
who's the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, this is a huge offseason for the 49ers. The team's going to be way different in a few months from now. I think this is our time to shine, Dad. Unless you want to take a little break.
No. Listen, my life is Groundhog Day.
All right.
I do the same thing every day, except when I do this with you. Yesterday, I never got out of my pajamas. I kept saying, gee, I need to get out of my pajamas. Then it was about 3:00, and I thought, what the hell? I'll only have to get into my pajamas again. So I never got out yesterday. Today, I took a shower. I shaved. I brushed my teeth. I put on my little outfit that I have over here. So, no, I love it. I'd like to go on as long as you would.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to do it, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the departure of Saleh, the new defensive coordinator, the new quarterback. They say they're not going to get a new quarterback, but if they can find a way, I think they'll figure it out. I think what they're looking at right now is they don't know how they're going to do it. I'm sure Shanahan doesn't even know which quarterbacks in the draft he likes, but in a couple of months, he may have a solution. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
One other thing, we've addressed this before we move on to the next topic. We've addressed it before, but yesterday in the press conference, Shanahan, referring to Saleh, only called him one time Robert. All the other times he called him Saleh. I find it interesting. Maybe Saleh.
Maybe Saleh's my French teacher from middle school, Mr. Harp, or Brian Murphy. There's certain people who like to be called by their last name. Brian Murphy is Murph. Mr. Harp is Harp. You don't call them by their first name. I don't know. Maybe Robert Saleh's like that. Maybe you, but I don't. Maybe not though. Maybe not. Maybe that's just what Kyle calls him.
I just find it interesting. Now, I met Brian Murphy in 1995. We've been very dear friends ever since. And when I first met him, I called him Brian, and he said, Lowell, Murph.
Yeah.
Murph.
Yeah.
Everybody calls me Murph. Okay. So I don't call him Brian. I call him Murph.
I've never heard Saleh say, look, please, it's Saleh. My name is Saleh. I don't know. Maybe I think it's something that probably Kyle doesn't think about. He probably does it subconsciously. He's Saleh to me.
That's a question.
Yeah.
If I knew and I'd say, Kyle, why do you refer to him as, Saleh and not Robert? And here's what I think would happen. He'd give me a look like, what are you asking me? Right? Like,
right. Because he's never considered that in his life.
Never thought about it, and never thought about the difference in the names.
Right.
In the different implications.
Because when you refer to someone by their first name, he's an equal.
Yes.
He's an equal. When you refer to someone by their last name, he's a subordinate. And Saleh's a subordinate to him.
I can tell you that when I worked at the Press Democrat, there was a sports writer that I knew pretty well who referred to me as Lowell. But then we didn't get along anymore, and people in the office told me he only referred to me as Cohn.
There you go.
So that was a change.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah, there's something familiar about the first. I don't know what the word is. Sorry.
Yeah, and people even sometimes use nicknames. Bobby.
Right.
Bobby, right? Bobby. But he calls him Saleh.
Yeah, he calls him Saleh. He could call him Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby Fischer. I mean, he's a chess player. All right, Dad.
Erasmus High School, Brooklyn. Bobby Fischer. Right. Same as Al Davis, same high school.
You guys used to kick their ass in football, huh?
Well, Al said they kicked ours, but it didn't seem like it.
Who's better at chess, though?
Oh, they had Bobby Fischer.
They had Bobby Fischer. That's pretty good.
The only one we had was Woody Allen. Midwood High School had no one but Woody Allen.
And he was good at chess, too.
Eric Kimmel went there.
There you go. And you.
And me.
And you.
And my big brother Robert, he went there.
He was, hey,